Texan here for Seconds Out, former two-weight world champion Carl Frampton. Carl, how you doing?
I'm alright, man. Not bad. Not
Glad
bad.
to hear it. Big fight Saturday night. When did you get the call that the opponent had been replaced by Darren Traynor?
Probably it was confirmed to me, I think, Thursday or Friday only. But I know Traynor has been kind of standing in as a replacement, so MTK, foreseeing that there may have been issues with either coronavirus or this opponent's visa, have been paying him to train. So he's been training for the last 4 weeks, I think. Good management, so but it was only confirmed to me a few days ago.
He's a bigger guy. He's been training for you specifically for 4 or 5 weeks. You only just recently found out he's coming in.
Yeah.
You were training for Vidanian, of course. Does that level the playing field a little bit?
I suppose it does level the playing field, and I never actually thought of it like that he's been training for me, and I haven't been training for him, but I'll be ready for him, and I've boxed his style a number of times. I've been in with better opposition on him, and I'm not taking this guy for granted or overlooking him, or I don't want to be disrespectful, but I'm a better fighter here for the higher level, and I should beat him.
Something Jamie Conlon mentioned earlier, that it might be beneficial to you to fight a bigger guy because you're looking to go in against Jamel Herring next, so it's a bit of preparation for that.
Look, I think that Vardanian was the exact polar opposite of Jamel Herring. He's about my height, I think. He was an orthodox fighter. He wings his shots in a lot. Traynor is taller. He's nice and straight. A bit like Jamel Herring, not a southpaw but orthodox, but as opposed to a bit more similar than Vardanian was. So again, not overlooking Traynor, but it will get me ready a little bit more than Vardanian would for Herring.
I'm going to overlook him a little bit more by asking about the Herring fight. What's the latest on that in terms of where it might be and when it might be?
I don't know. I probably know as much as you know and what you've seen on social media. I think Bob Arum said November sort of time they're talking about. Someone else mentioned Fury and Wilder undercard slot in Vegas in December. So that one appeals to me, if I'm being honest. If I get it in before the end of the year, I'd be delighted. So hopefully this side of 2020.
At this stage of your career, having achieved everything you have already, how difficult, or maybe not so much, is it to get up for fights like this?
I've been asked that loads of times, Donny, to be honest, and but it's not difficult really. It's a good question, but it's not difficult for me to get up and have the motivation, and the motivation is the 3-weight world title, and to become the only man that's ever done it on the island of Ireland, one of the only fighters from the UK that's won world titles in 3 divisions. So that's the carrot, and that's the motivation and the goal and the drive, and I believe that it can happen. So I've been travelling back and forward during this coronavirus and getting on boats, 9-hour overnight boats. If that's not someone who doesn't still want to be in this game, then I don't know what is. So.
And just a word about Mick Conlon. You obviously want to become Ireland's first 3-weight world champion. I think he wants to be the second. Well, he'd love to be the first, but more likely is he becomes the second. He's dropping down super bantamweight after this fight. How likely do you think it is that he can emulate your achievements?
Well, he's got a fair chance. I think that, especially if he starts at super bantamweight, because Mick is a huge featherweight. If he gets down to super bantamweight and he can do it safely, I think with his skill set, like one of the most skilled fighters that Ireland has ever produced. And then if you bring the size with that as a 122 fighter, it's going to be a nightmare for everybody. So, yeah, Mick could go right up. Mick wouldn't be out of place as a lightweight. He's a big enough frame to do it. So he's got all the chances to win world titles in different divisions.
It'd be strange if Ireland's first 2 3-weight world champions did it at exactly the same weights, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. It would be. But do you know what? I support all fighters from back home. There's always a wee bit of patriotism, and we all support each other. And I hope Mick can do big things in the sport.
And before we let you go, we saw last week Frank Warren extend something of an olive branch to Eddie Hearn, an open letter about fights the two sides can make together. Kind of a twofold question. First of all, you work with both of them. How far do you see this kind of rapprochement going?
Well, I don't know. I'm hoping that something can come of it. I think that you look at the initial reaction from both guys and how they've spoke about their chat that they've had, and it seems positive enough, but proof is in the pudding. So there's some huge fights to be made. With, some quality fighters in each stable. So not only for UK boxing but globally and worldwide boxing, it would be huge. And this is something that, if you get Frank and Eddie working together, maybe the rest of the promoters in the world will start taking heed, and you'll have PBC and Top Rank and Golden Boy and everybody working together, and that's going to be great for boxing.
So obvious follow-up question. I know your mind's on Traynor and then Herring, but if you could pick anyone from the Matchroom side of the fence to take on, who would it be?
Warrington would have to be from Matchroom. So something to think there. Who would it be? But Warrington, obviously, a rematch would be huge, and I think that although Warrington won the fight fair and square, I'm pretty one-sided the first time. I feel like I got it wrong, and I feel like I could reverse the tables and beat him in a rematch.
You're doing yourself a bit of a disservice. It wasn't as one-sided as you're making out. But
well, the first few rounds were anyway. I done well to come back into it, but it was. I just remembered. I haven't watched it. I've watched it back once, and I can't really remember too much about it. So I always remember in them first few rounds in my head it was very one-sided. So, well, he won the fight fair and square.
Great stuff. Well, best of luck on Saturday night.
Thanks, Danny. Thank you. Cheers.